What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. I'm Warren Thompson, and if you're looking for the next Avengers level movie, a movie that is going to be on the same scale as an Avengers movie, the next one we are getting is actually Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Of course, this is not an official Avengers film. However, the writers and the directors of Ant-Man 3 have come out and said that this is indeed going to be on the level of an Avengers movie. Basically meaning that this movie is going to be huge and it's going to be extremely important. After all, it is going to be introducing us to the big bad of the multiverse saga. We already briefly met one of his variants, of course, in the Loki series when we were introduced to He Who Remains. However, this variant is an actual Kang the Conqueror variant, still in that conquering phase of his life.
So, what's it gonna be? Ant-Man.
Set out not only for world domination, but multiversal domination. So it would make sense that Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania would be a very big movie. And having said that, it's now going to be the longest Ant-Man movie that's ever been made so far. Now we're also going to be talking about when to expect that next trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania and talking about Jessica Jones returning to the MCU, so stay put. But Fandango has listed Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania's runtime at 2 hours and 5 minutes, which is a new record for an Ant-Man film. Not by much, but still a record nonetheless. The first Ant-Man film comes in at 1 hour and 57 minutes, while the second one, Ant-Man and the Wasp, comes in at 1 hour and 58 minutes. A whopping 7 minutes longer. Again, not much longer, but here's what the director had to say about the scale of the movie and about how important this movie is going to be going forward in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I know a lot of people are already excited about this movie, but just listen to what director Peyton Reed has to say about this movie and Kang the Conqueror, and you're truly going to realize that Kang is truly a force to be reckoned with, and this movie is going to be huge. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, he expressed that the previous Ant-Man films were seen as palate cleansers, and he wanted to change that. So in the interview, he said, "People felt like, oh, these are fun little palate cleansers after a gigantic Avengers movie. For this third one, I said, I don't want to be the palate cleanser anymore. I want to be the big Avengers movie." When telling him this, I metaphorically kicked in Kevin Feige's door. And here's where he gives us some details about what to expect from Kang the Conqueror in the film. He continues in the interview, "I grew up a real Marvel Comics nerd, and there are a handful of antagonists in the Marvel Comics universe who are all-timers. Loki, obviously, Doctor Doom from the Fantastic Four, and Kang the Conqueror. In conversations with Kevin Feige and Marvel, it was like, I want to put Ant-Man and Wasp up against a really formidable villain in this movie, and so we're doing Kang the Conqueror. In the comics, Kang has dominion over time. He's a time traveler. His situation is a little bit different in this movie, which I won't spoil for you, but he's someone. While we live very linear lives from childhood to death, Kang doesn't exist that way. It struck me as interesting to take the tiniest Avengers, in some people's mind maybe the least powerful Avengers, and put them up against the most powerful force in the multiverse." Now, I love that final line where he says Kang the Conqueror is the most powerful force in the multiverse. This is why he is going to be the big bad. However, we already know that we are going to see more than one Kang variant in Quantumania. We so far know about at least 2. And one of them is going to be asking Ant-Man for his help to take down the other. Because remember, the true multiversal war that happened before in the past was between a bunch of different variants of Kang. It wasn't a bunch of Avengers fighting each other, it was literally just variants of Kang. And in this comment that he makes where he says he's not going to spoil the movie, this is actually what he is referring to. He is referring to one of the variants of Kang that we're going to be introduced to in Quantumania. You see, in this interview, what he said, although he doesn't reveal it because, of course, spoilers, he is actually talking about 2 Kangs. One of them is the one he's talking about where he says Kang has dominion over time, he's a time traveler, but then he is actually talking about a different one where he says his situation is a little bit different in this movie. That is because, as we know from the trailers, one variant of Kang is stuck inside of the quantum realm, and he needs Ant-Man to steal something for him to get out. We've seen this power source in the trailer before, and this is most likely what Kang the Conqueror needs to power his time chair. His time chair in the comics is pretty simple. It's how he travels through time. We get a little glimpse of this in the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania trailer, but we also get a glimpse at the other Kang, the Kang that is essentially in charge of the quantum realm. We see the huge quantum city, we see the huge army that Kang the Conqueror has, we see all of the advanced technology, and we see what seem to be different portals going out of the quantum realm. These are what Kang, the one in charge, most likely uses to travel through different points in the universe. And not just our universe, but of course the multiverse. So there's going to be a main Kang and then the Kang on the sidelines asking Ant-Man for help. So essentially, Ant-Man is already going after the big bad that literally the Avengers are going to go after in the Kang Dynasty, and then the multiversal heroes are then going to go after in Secret Wars. So in this film, it's up to our tiny little Ant-Man family to take on probably the biggest and baddest villain that we've ever seen in the MCU so far. And hopefully we get a better look at Kang in the next trailer that is coming. We're actually getting a special clip trailer Monday the 9th. This will be on ESPN, and Marvel has already marketed this as a new exclusive look trailer. Like I said, it's debuting on ESPN at some point in time during the National College Football Championship game. That's going to start at 7:30 Eastern Time. If you need to convert that into your own time, just type it into Google. And of course, it's going to be put on YouTube probably exactly at the same time as it releases. That's what Marvel Studios has typically been doing. So Ant-Man 3 is going to be a huge movie on the same level as an Avengers movie, which is just awesome. It's about time that Ant-Man and the Wasp and the rest of the family are getting the credit and attention that they deserve. And to top it all off, like I mentioned in the beginning, we do have some news about Jessica Jones possibly returning to the MCU. Now, we've been hearing rumors about this possibly happening for some time now. We've even gotten some reports from some insiders. And since Charlie Cox has returned as Daredevil, we now know that it is actually possible for some of these Defenders from the Netflix series to return. And now, actress Kristen Ritter, who of course plays Jessica Jones herself, has posted some pictures to Instagram of her training with a Daredevil shirt on. This is very interesting, as I'm sure most Marvel actors know what they're doing when they share photos like this, wearing that type of shirt. It's also very interesting to note that Daredevil Born Again, which she is rumored to appear in, starts filming next month. So is she training for a cameo in Daredevil Born Again right now? Or possibly another project such as the Echo series, which Daredevil is confirmed to be in as well? The timing certainly is very coincidental. Probably a little bit more than coincidental, since Charlie Cox has returned as Daredevil, D'Onofrio has returned as Kingpin. I'm assuming that we're going to see cameos from these other characters as well. Perhaps not all of them, but I would love to see Jessica Jones return, which it kind of does look like it's going to happen. And I would love to see, of course, Frank Castle, the Punisher. Of course, played by John Bernthal. I don't want it unless he is going to be playing him. But it looks like there are some very exciting things coming up in the MCU for those who thought Phase 4 might have been a little bit bland. The future of Phase 5 and Phase 6 is looking very, very good, and even beyond, because we know that the X-Men and the Fantastic Four are going to be really big focuses of Phase 7, 8, and beyond that as well. So drop some comments down below about how excited you are for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, the possibility of Jessica Jones returning to the MCU, or I should say making her debut in the MCU, and of course Phase 5 and Phase 6 all together. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest MCU news, and you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter as well. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.